It's the Gin Genie. And why have we picked this cocktail? Well, it's not just because it is an international award-winning cocktail, but it's also, of course, the new name of the Worthing Gin van. So Gin Genie seems appropriate. And I love this recipe actually because a very good friend of mine is the person who created it. Way back in 2001, Wayne Collins, master mixologist, entered this cocktail into the Drinks International Cocktail Competition and it won. So this is a world-class, world-recognised cocktail and of course the perfect relationship with Worthing Gin. So this is how we're going to make it. We're going to take a highball. This is actually quite a large highball. This is a sort of 13-14 ounce, so it's a sort of bigger glass than the standard highball. So that's the sort of size that you're going for. And we're going to start by taking some mint leaves. And the recipe says 8 mint leaves, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick exactly to Wayne's recipe, and just let me pluck these off of here. So that's 5 and 6, and then 2 more, 7, 8. And the first thing that we want to do is we want to muddle the mint. In other words, we're going to give it a little bit of a squeeze to help release some of those mint oils. Now you can do it dry, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tiny bit of our sugar syrup, because there's some sugar syrup coming up a bit later in this recipe. Let me just do that there. And let me just take that off the side of the glass as well. And that's going to help me to release the oils. Much better to do it like this than completely dry. So I'm going to take my pestle and I'm just going to press down on these mint leaves. I don't want to be sort of smashing them around the place. I really don't want to break these mint leaves up. I just want to try and release the oils. Okay, that's enough. That's good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some crushed ice to the glass, and I want to go about 2/3 of the way up the glass with the crushed ice. So let me just put a little bit more in there. There we go. And now we've got our crushed ice. So mint at the bottom, tiny bit of sugar, and then the crushed ice. So now for the key ingredients. Want to add 1 shot, 25ml shot of our wonderful Worthing Gin. And let's just pour that gently over the ice, like so. Then I'm going to do the same, another 1 shot, and this is freshly squeezed lemon juice, which I pressed a bit earlier. So let's just pop that in there as well and drizzle that over very nicely. And then this is a relatively sweet drink. I think Wayne was definitely going for that sour style. So I'm putting 1/2 shot, so around about 12.5ml of sugar syrup in there. Good. So now we've got our mint, our ice, lemon, obviously our Worthing Gin and the sugar syrup. And I'm going to give it a bit of a stir. And what I want to do is I want to just sort of bring the mint leaves up into the crushed ice. That's good. And then of course we're combining the ingredients by giving it a stir and we're chilling them, all the things that we need to do to make this drink blend really well. Next thing we're going to do is add more crushed ice, and this time I want to pretty much bring it right up to the top of the glass. So let's get it there, pretty much to the top. I'm going to get my spoon in again and I'm going to give this another stir just to help the new ice break down into the drink and drop that tiny bit in so that everything is combined perfectly. And then the final addition to this is sloe gin liqueur. Now obviously there are all sorts of brands of sloe gin, but I like to actually make my own, so this is a sloe gin that I made myself. And it's a liqueur, so I've taken gin, I'll give you a guess which one it is, obviously lots of sugar, some sloes, you prick the sloes, you let them infuse, and after about, in my case, after about 3 or 4 weeks actually, I then sort of strain it and filter it. And I'm just going to pour this straight from the bottle, but again, it's about 1 ounce, about 25ml. And we just want to drizzle that over the crushed ice at the top. And it should just sort of trickle down amongst the ice like so. That's good. And then finally, I'm going to put a tiny little bit more of crushed ice just to sort of put a cap on the drink. And there we have it, in honour of the new Worthing Gin van and Wayne Collins' amazing 2001 award-winning cocktail. I present to you the Gin Genie.